let's start with the remaining managers or manager seats that need to be filled here. So Phil Nevin interviewed with the San Diego Padres. They're taking a while to get theirs done. Mike Shildt is a candidate. Ryan Flaherty's a candidate. Benji Gill was a reported candidate. We had Joe Madden on our show who said he wanted to be a candidate. I don't know if he ended up actually meeting with them, but we've had this manager carousel going on, Kratz. The Padres have their own manager carousel that's been going on for a decade now. So I can understand why they want to get this one right. I would think this will be the last, is this fair? The last manager under the AJ Preller era. This will be it. Because either they're winning and this manager will stick around for a while, or they won't. And they'll say, okay, enough. We've been trying with a lot of resources for a while, and it's just not working.
I don't know. I asked a question to I forget who I asked yesterday, but I was like, the whole Ron Washington thing, getting hired with the Angels. You're sitting there going, okay, does he want to win? Like, is it a job? He just wants to be a manager. Similar can be said about the Padres. Like, why are the Padres not in on the other guys? Is it the fit? Is it the fact that AJ Preller knows that Buck Showalter wouldn't fit well in this clubhouse? Is it completely a power play by AJ Preller? Like, I'm confused. I do like the Phil Nevin interviewing, though. I don't know if I see Flaherty being a new young manager with this team that AJ Preller built. Shildt, I'm not in lockstep there, but AJ might like him. But I feel like Phil Nevin would bring in some a little bit more of a back and forth. Like, he's not afraid to stand up for what he needs to stand up for, but he's also, maybe not hated by Preller, who I don't know, man. I'm so confused by the Padres.
Do you know any of those guys, Kip? And also, from what I collected on the Angels side, Phil Nevin didn't really do anything wrong. He's just part of a system there that, is a mess from the owner. I even heard that players were vouching for him to stay, but it's not up to them. So, yeah, I could see Phil Nevin working. Also, I think Phil Nevin's reputation is interesting because sometimes people see him as like big, tough, gets into it with people sometimes like publicly, but I think behind the scenes, he's actually pretty laid back and easy to relate to for most people.
Of those names, I think Phil Nevin offers you the best case scenario. I think he brings the most experience to that table. I like guys like Flaherty, but again, I think Kratz was hinting on this. I think with the lineup and the roster that San Diego has put forth, it changes things. It changes how and who you have to bring in. And as much as I think Flaherty, Ryan deserves one, but he used to play with Machado, and it's tough when you have these guys who make so much money and have these personalities. A former teammate might not be able to he'll command a certain kind of respect, but he won't be able to really put them in the place that, say, a much older veteran guy, maybe like a Nevin, can. I think, I'm not saying anyone of this sort would do this, but a Machado or something like a former teammate could be like, shut up or something like that. But because the line's a little blurry of former teammates and managers when they become working together.
We just had one who just got let go in David Ross.
And so that's kind of what I'm going on. And I think that was my 1 year there was his first year, was 2020 with Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I actually do want to say, I thought Ross did a phenomenal job of tiptoeing that line of knowing when to be the former teammate and when to be the manager. And there's a certain divide. It's probably like a 90-10 where you're the manager, then the 10% still friend, because you gotta command the respect, and you have to know that, hey, what you say goes in certain things. And you just have to use that 10%, that friendship part, as a benefit to you, and a benefit makes it easier to communicate together. So, but I think with the roster for San Diego, that's calling for someone with a little bit more experience that can kind of reel everybody in a little bit more.
Doesn't that don't Kip? That's who I was going to ask you about. Doesn't that kind of like that relationship already happen when you're teammates? Like, in the sense of like, let's say example like Flaherty and Machado used to hang out, or were they just teammates and Flaherty was a guy that could be like, hey, easy, slow your roll, because even superstars need to be told to slow their roll, or they're just going to get out of hand and you're never going to have any semblance of order in the clubhouse.
I'm not saying Flaherty can't be like slow your roll. What I'm saying is how Machado responds to hearing that from, say, a older manager compared to someone he's played with. That's the difference that I'm trying to distinguish. And I think the benefits you'll get from playing for someone that you played with, I think the communication can be a lot easier. But I think to me, you're walking this fine line of a respect thing where it's like, because that line's blurred, where they look at you almost as still a teammate or a former teammate and a friend rather than a superior, I guess, in that instance.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I like that blend with Nevin, right? He's been a star actually for that ball club. And he also can be laid back behind the scenes and give you like that West Coast chill, but still put someone in their place. It's almost like another candidate with a team already that would come to mind would be Bob Melvin. Would make sense. That type of manager. Too soon? I mean, seemed like a really good fit there, but I guess he didn't get along with Boss.
Phil's gonna be able to see his house if he manages in San Diego. If I were to push my chips in one direction, I would say if the Padres have a successful year next year, it's because Phil Nevin comes in and is the manager.
Okay. And with all that being said, he probably won't get it, but it was good to at least kick it around.
Good story.
No, but I'm glad we have consensus there, at least, from the list. And also, in fairness, I don't know a ton about, Benji Gill's managing skills. Like, I just don't have a lot of background there. So I don't want to rule that out if someone's like, oh, you're not giving him enough credit. I don't have enough there to offer. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't. So I haven't come across Benji. I don't know anyone that knows him. So that one's a little more of a wild card for me.